It's PHA Peel time. All right, everyone. So the reason why I wanted to do the live on the PHA Peel this week is because this is a product this is what it looks like. This is the little box. I want to say Cosmedix came out with this peel towards the end of last year, in the fall. I want to say towards the end. The retail size looks like this. Okay. And I'm very quickly really falling in love with this product. Even though it feels like there is some silicone in it, there's not. The ingredients are insanely pure. The other nice thing about peels is they hardly have any preservatives because they are, more naturally acidic. They're more stable on their own. So the first ingredient's water. The second ingredient is gluconolactone, which we're going to cover. Then it's Lactobionic Acid, which is also from lactose. It's similar to lactic acid. And then it has, the other active in it is Phytic Acid. So it literally goes water, gluconolactone, lactobionic acid, and Phytic Acid. And then there is some ingredients to help with the slip and the glide. And there's some alcohol denate to help it penetrate into the tissues. And then they use radish root ferment, which is the preservative in it. So it's a very simple, clean, super short ingredient index. It's just this guy. And I have found it's got a lot of bang for your buck. It's more potent than I anticipated for a home pill. Let's just say that. So let's get into it. So what PHA stand for are polyhydroxy acids. So you have your alpha hydroxy acids, which are the smaller molecule. That's what like your lactic acid, your glycolic acid, your mandelic acid, your malic acid, all those acids, they're a smaller molecule and they drop down into the epidermis. Glycolic acid actually makes it all the way down into the dermis. The reason why glycolic acid can make it all the way down into the dermis is because the molecule is extremely tiny, so it can drop down in there. But there's no receptor sites in your skin for glycolic acid. So it tends to float around and create irritation in the skin. That's why over time people can build up issues with glycolic acid. If they're using it daily, they can start noticing like redness around their nose in these areas. It's because there's no receptor site for that glycolic acid to fit into. That's why Cosmedix doesn't work with it. Cosmedix only works with acids that you have receptor sites for in your skin. Beta hydroxy acids, the next level, they're a little bit larger molecule. That one, there's only one, and it's salicylic acid. And how that acid works is the reason why you see it in so many acne products and things like that is because it can actually drop down into the pores. So alpha hydroxy acids drop down more into the tissues. Salicylic acid also drops down into the tissue, but it actually will drop down into pores and push things out. That's why it's like the number one ingredient for blackheads and things like that. And then you get into these polyhydroxy acids. And they've been using polyhydroxy acids in skincare for quite some time. For example, gluconolactone has been around a long time. It's always been a polyhydroxy acid. They just have never used the term polyhydroxy acid because no one really knew what they were yet. Polyhydroxy acids are a larger molecule and they sit on the surface of the skin. They don't really drop in. There's some pros and cons to that. So the benefit of that is when you use this peel, there's no stinging sensation. It's not going into the tissues. It's not stinging. There's no activity. It just feels very calming and soothing. You will sometimes notice like the skin like warming up for a moment, like a flush for a second as things start to go in, but then it quickly dissipates. So the bonus of having it be a polyhydroxy acid is they do sit on the surface and work on all of the surface fine lines and wrinkles. The other bonus with it being a polyhydroxy acid is it's completely safe for pregnancy because it can't even really get into the skin. It really just kind of sits on the surface and works on superficial texture, superficial fine lines, superficial wrinkles. Some people look at that as a downside because it doesn't penetrate. It is not going to work on those deeper wrinkles. That is what our Jesners and our retinoids and our lactic acids are for. So it will just sit on the surface. But again, the bonus of that is you don't have the tingling. So it's much better for people who have sensitive skin. And it's just it doesn't cause issues or irritation. So let's get into the active. So gluconolactone is the first active. It's a polyhydroxy acid. It's also an antioxidant. They're not quite sure. It doesn't work like a traditional antioxidant. Like, it doesn't give one of its hydrogen. It doesn't neutralize free radicals in that way. They're not quite sure exactly why it works, because it doesn't work as like the other ones, but it is a free radical neutralizer. It stimulates new skin growth and skin repair. So the benefit of that is this particular peel is amazing post-procedure. So if you've gotten other chemical peels done a week and a half, 2 weeks later, if they're a stronger peel, this is an excellent product. If you've had laser done, if you've had radio frequency done, if you've had the CO2 lasers, microneedling, this is a phenomenal post-care treatment 3 or 4 days after your procedure. Because of the fact it's not just the gluconolactone, but it's also the lactobionic acid and the phytic acid. They all are going to promote healing in the skin. They're all going to promote quicker cellular turnover. So it's going to help turn over the little stragglers, I like to call them. So after you've had skincare treatments, lots of times you'll have like an initial flush of skin remove or a sloughing. And then like for a couple weeks after that, you can kind of have these little stragglers that are like, they're kind of on the outskirts of where you were treated. And then also just the skin slowly also keeps sloughing off. It helps speed that process up and get rid of those guys. So with the gluconolactone, it stimulates skin growth and improves, helps with skin repair. It improves the look of aging skin. It works on those superficial fine lines and wrinkles, like more of like the ones you get along the cheeks here and the more superficial crow's feet one. Like the lines that like you don't see at rest, but then when you move, those tend to, I mean, not about the crow's feet ones as much, but you know, these guys, especially in here, all those are more superficial lines. They also did say that results really started to kick up after 6 weeks and then particularly after 12 weeks. So this is a product that to get really the full benefit from it, polyhydroxy acids do work like on a long-term scale. They're not as short and quick as like alpha hydroxy or beta hydroxy. So the longer you use them and you're incorporating them in your routine, the better and better your skin is going to appear. They also found out that the gluconolactone in more recent studies is antimicrobial. So it's going to help with acne breakouts, acne, surface bacteria, things like that. It's completely safe for rosacea as well. The other thing that I thought was really interesting with this ingredient, gluconolactone, and the lactobionic acid, they're chelating agents. And if you guys don't know what a chelating agent is, chelating pulls heavy metals from the body. So putting this peel on topically is going to help pull out any heavy metals out of the pores from pollution and things like that. So when it comes to the lactobionic acid, it basically is the polyhydroxy acid version of lactic acid. They both come from lactose. It's being derived from sugar, the one that Cosmedix uses. It's not being derived from dairy. It's also an antioxidant. It protects against sun damage and it strengthens the skin's lipid barrier. So it's actually going to help strengthen and support your acid mantle, what's also known as like the microbiome, that lipid barrier layer. It's going to help rebuild and renew that. So again, amazing post-procedure. And then it has and it's also lactobionic acid is particularly excellent for people who have more sensitive skin. And then we've got the phytic acid, which is actually a very mild alpha hydroxy acid. It's not a poly, it's an alpha hydroxy acid, but it's very mild on the tissues, that is. It doesn't have as low as a pH as a lot of the other ones, and it has lightening properties to it. All of these are going to help with skin lightening and brightening because of the exfoliation effect. But in particular, phytic acid and gluconolactone work particularly on pigment. It's also a decongestant. So again, the blackheads, the sluggishness, and phytic acid is similar to glycolic acid, okay? So it also has a really tiny molecule. I'm not sure if it drops all the way down into the dermis. I didn't research it that extensively. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should. And not only is it also an antioxidant, but it's very calming to the tissues. So the thing I think I love about this peel the most is it's very gentle yet effective. So I'm going to show you how to properly use it. I have the back bar size. So the bottle I'm going to use is going to look like this. When you buy it off the website, it's normally $60. It's on sale right now for $45. It again comes in a little smaller bottle like this. You can absolutely use this treatment once a week. I actually just did it a couple days ago, and I put it on, I waited 20 minutes, and then I actually put the detox mask over the top. So I'm going to show you like the most effective way. You can do it very simple. You can wash your face, you can slap this bad boy on, leave it on for 15-20 minutes and take it off. You can slap it on and sleep in it. Once it's done doing what it's going to do, it's going to shut off anyway. Or you can do it the pro way, which is what I'm going to show you how to do right now. So this I also have on my website as a kit. You can get, it's discounted, and then also it's discounted because of the sale. But you're going to get this product, the Polyhydroxy Acid. You're going to get Purity Balance, which normally comes in a bottle like this. But again, I have the back bar size because I'm a professional. And then there's a mistake on the website. It's supposed to come with the Clarify Foaming Micellar Water Cleanser that has 2% salicylic acid in it. This is better at prepping and stripping the skin. But right now on the website, under the kit, which is normally, so the retail value of all three of these is $143. And the kit is always on my website at $120. You get these three products, okay, and the little scrubby pads that I'm going to use. I give you a handful of these guys, so you have everything for your kit. It's normally $120, and it's even discounted more. I think it's all the way down to $90 because of the sale. So it's an excellent deal. Right now, the website is showing Purity Clean as the cleanser when it's supposed to be this one. So if you get the kit, just down in the comments, like on my page when you order, it says, do you want, do you have anything? Go ahead and tell me, hey, I'd rather have the Clarify Foaming Cleanser rather than the Purity Clean, and I'll make sure you get the right thing in your order. And in the next couple days, the website will be updated with the right cleanser. So this is how you do it. So you're gonna start with this cleanser. I have found that this is the best way to use this cleanser. You do one pump, and I'm gonna start massaging it into my dry skin. Normally for this, you would cleanse your face twice, but right before this, I actually cleansed my face once already in the sink and then just left it with nothing on it. So that way I only had to do one cleanse. So you spend at least a minute, if not two, cleansing the face. I'm going to go around. Notice how I'm getting the eyebrows. I'm going to massage this in till it's kind of fully massaged in. Okay? Do you see that? And I had dry face, dry hands. And then I'm going to dip my hands in some water. If you were in front of the faucet, you dip it in the faucet. See how quickly that foamed back up? And then you're going to go in with water. This particular cleanser is... I love this cleanser. I treat it more like a treatment cleanser. She's got some punch behind it. That 2% salicylic is a lot every day if you don't tend to have really oily skin. I use this cleanser if I feel like I need to pick me up anytime before I do any type of before I do the Cosmedix Pure Enzymes, before I do this peel, sometimes before I do the detox mask. Anytime you want things to penetrate in a little bit deeper, this cleanser is going to prep the skin for the next step. So I'm just adding some water. And normally, of course, I would rinse this in the sink, but I'm not at a sink. So I'm going to use my handy dandy flour sack towel that I got wet. And these are just stains. It's a clean towel, I swear. So I'm just going to take it off. And this is the best way to get the bang for the buck on this peel. When I do it like this, I'll notice my forehead starts feeling kind of chapped. Well, it's not chapped. That's the skin that's gonna flake off. You're never gonna see the skin flake off. You're not gonna see peeling. But one day your forehead's chapped and then the next day it's not. That's because you had a ton of micro flaking. Whereas when I did this the other night, I just cleansed with crystal clear. I didn't even use a stripping cleanser, and then I put it on. I definitely felt more hydrated and brighter the next day, but I didn't have any of that tight sensation. So that's kind of the difference between stripping the skin and not stripping the skin. Okay? So I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to take one of my little 2x2 rough gauze squares, and normally I would spray 5 to 6 pumps, but I took the cap out of this because I was making things for the peel kits and I wasn't thinking. So I got a little too much liquid, so I'm just going to throw another pad behind it. Okay? And then with this, you're going to start scrubbing. Okay, you don't want to do surgery, but you want to see your skin pink up. The pink lets you know that there's good circulation to the tissues. And I like to kind of do these, like if you go in circles when there's one pad, like when it's like this. When you do these circles, it tends to ball up on you, okay? I find doing these shorter back and forth work better. All around the lips. I'm gonna get everything into the eyebrows. If you feel like you need to do this step twice, you can. So strip, strip, strip. Anybody who has done peels with me is fully aware of how this process works. Okay, so now I'm gonna strip. I'm even gonna scrub a little bit more on this pigment that I kept telling myself I was gonna peel out this winter and then never did a chemical peel. So we're just gonna get those areas a little bit more. Okay, done with that. Let the face cool down a little bit. This purity balance has a serious punch when you do it with these rough gauzes. It's completely different than using like the cotton rounds. Okay, so let this dry a moment. And then you have two choices. Because I just use purity balance, my fingers are pretty strict. You can put a pair of gloves on though if you wish. And I use 3 pumps. It may be a slightly less of a pump with the smaller container, so you might need 4. But there's the product. And you literally just put it on. There's like, it's not rocket science. It's pretty. Notice how I'm going like low on the eyelids. I'm not on the lid, but I'm going low like where the orbital bone is, into the eyebrows, up into the hairline, all over. Okay, and I'm just gonna let this sit. You can let it sit 10 minutes, you can let it sit 20 minutes. I honestly don't even know what the instructions say, but it's pretty fast acting. It doesn't take time to drop down into the tissues. It says to leave on for up to 10 minutes and then rinse off with water. I actually have just used a cloth to wipe it off. But okay, that's it. I'm gonna sit with it. After 10 minutes, you honestly can just throw another mask on if you want to over the top. I've done BioShape over the top. I've done Awaken over the top. I've done Detox Mask over the top. It really just depends on if you feel like putting a mask over the top or not. If I don't put a mask on, if I just remove it after 10 minutes, I then do my normal skincare routine. So I do tend to do things like this more at night. So then after this, I would put on my Excel Plus. I'd put on my AQ Growth Factors. I would put on sometimes another antioxidant serum if I feel like it. I would put on the Bakuchiol Complete, my Brilliant C&E. I have a problem. So does anybody have any questions about the particular peel or other Cosmedix products that you might have questions about in regards to the sale? Again, this is a treatment product. You can use it like once a week. You can use it post-procedure. You are going to get the best effects from it by using it more long-term. Like, don't use it like once or twice and then be like, oh, it didn't work. Give it a little bit of time. Just like if you did a peel series, like if you came to work with me for a peel series, we always recommend that you do 4 to 6 peels. Same thing. Do this like every night for a month and then judge the product. You're going to be very pleasantly surprised. So between this AHA peel and the Bakuchiol Complete product, and then using RX Clean a few nights a week, I actually was not even able to get into retinoids this winter. Normally by this time before I stop, I'm using Refine RX, the strongest, layered by Serum 24, the other version of the retinoid, the strongest, one layered on top of each other. My skin's no problem handling it. But between the Bakuchiol and this, the Bakuchiol and this, my skin stayed so well exfoliated this winter that when I started, I didn't want to stop using the Bakuchiol Complete was part of it. I really liked the product. I wanted to keep using it. When I started trying to incorporate more retinoids into my routine, it started compromising my microbiome on my forehead. And so I realized I was either going to have to go off of the Bakuchiol Complete and go to my retinoids, which I really didn't want to do. I wanted to kind of see what it would do. So all winter long, I have not used retinoids. It's been this peel, which I wasn't even consistent. I was probably only doing this 2 to 3 times a month because I'm naughty. And I was only using the Bakuchiol Complete at night. When I was doing it AM and PM, that was also too strong. So she's got this girl's got some punch in it for being a very, like it's dry on my skin now. I don't feel it. There was no tingling sensation, no nothing like that. All right, so let's see if there's any questions. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in and listening to me ramble about skincare products. I am having my sale through Sunday. You don't need a code. Everything on the website is just already marked 25% off, except for, of course, the Prakash Organics products. I don't do sales on those because I don't want to undercut my beloved wholesale accounts. So yeah, does anybody have any more questions before I let you go? Thank you for tuning in. What if you have microbladed tattoo brows? Should you avoid Nope. So this is only going to work on the surface. It will not go deep enough to affect the tattoos. So you absolutely, that's the other thing. It's completely pregnancy safe. It's completely tattoo safe. It's microblading safe. It is only going to work more on the superficial skin. So the pigment that's in the more upper layers of the epidermis, it's going to help peel that away, things like that. It's not a deep peel, which is why you don't really feel things going in, because it is very surface. This honestly, I think, is going to be pregnant women's best friend. I have so many women when they're pregnant really struggle with their skincare because they have so many limitations. And this is really going to help a lot of pregnant ladies with the texture and like the breakout and the hormonal things like that, without getting into any of the no-no ingredients. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all your support, and we'll see you later, alligator. Mwah. Light and love to you all.